Epitome describes itself as a true next-generation game, partly because it uses AI to make the game world feel more alive. The game world itself is also meant to change through events. The title is currently in a pre-alpha phase, which is being supported by a Kickstarter campaign. In the first 24 hours, 68,000 euros of the hoped-for 85,000 euros were raised. The game is currently localized into dozens of languages. However, you immediately notice that these are AI translations. In character creation, you can choose between 4 different classes, each with 2 playstyles. There is the warrior, the ninja, the shaman, and the necromancer. Each playstyle offers 6 different abilities, all of which are unlocked immediately at level 1. There is currently no editor for your character's appearance, and gender switching is also disabled. All players of the same class therefore look completely identical at the start. After that, you are thrown into the open world and land right next to an NPC where you can change your specialization at any time. And then you just stand there in the world because you don't receive a quest from that NPC. So first you set off and beat up the first monsters, and immediately you might have a flashback to Metin 2. There are gray deer, light brown deer, dark brown deer, royal deer, brown royal deer, and so on. Altogether, the game is supposed to offer around different enemy types. In the early levels so far, you will face mainly deer, stags, pigs, and goats. Probably you will find other wild animals if you go deeper into the game world. After some time and a bit of mob slaying, you will return to town and talk to the next NPC, the biologist. She didn't simply offer you a quest, but instead asked what you would like. If you then say, "Okay, I'd like a job from you," and you get one. But the quest is the same where you were supposed to kill 15 light brown deer and 15 gray stags. After completing the task, you go back to her, but she cheekily claimed that you had never accepted a quest and then will give you a different job. For that one, you now have to kill gray deer and brown pigs. This quest you might turn in without any problems. However, there are some problems with quest tracking, and the AI-generated tasks don't seem to be working 100% yet. As for the combat system, which is supposed to be the heart of the game, it still feels extremely unfinished. The crosshair for aiming is very inaccurate. The abilities feel very floaty, similar to Elder Scrolls Online, but on top of that, most of them are more or less useless. As a ninja, you jump onto enemies with your 4th skill and stun them. But because you jump away again afterward, the stun ends before you can free yourself from the animation and move again. That means enemies can damage you just as quickly as before. The ability deals 0 damage to enemies, so effectively you only lose out because enemies you don't hit can just run toward you and damage you while you stuck in the animation. In larger groups, this ability is clearly a disadvantage for you. Only ability 5, where you throw a shuriken star and then teleport to the target, and ability 6 as a large area effect feel really good. You also have a dash or short teleport on the shift key depending on which class you chose, and there are 2 potion slots. The first impression is that the ninja feels like the best class because the shaman feels like a slower ninja, and the abilities simply cost so much mana while having so little impact on combat that you mostly stuck to auto attacks. In general, you will see far too few differences in gameplay, but of course this is just a first impression of a pre-alpha. We're not talking about a game that should already be finished like Ashes or Core Punk or something similar. It's nice that you can distribute status points, a feature many really like, and graphically it at least looks clearly better than all previous Metin clones in the world, even if you sometimes feel like you've seen the animations and graphics somewhere before. That's probably due to the use of Unreal Engine 5. Nevertheless, even compared to other old-school games like Pantheon or Monsters and Memories, Epitome simply looks better. In the pre-alpha, you have 1 map. They already mentioned 30 different enemy types, 160 different items, and a mount system available. So where does Epitome want to go long-term? Looking at the game's vision, it's meant to become a grinder with dynamic quests. It is therefore deliberately a kind of Metin 3. You're supposed to get 8 different maps in the future. A soft level cap of 99 is planned, although you can apparently level endlessly beyond that. There are supposed to be thousands of items, and later dungeon skins and underwater combat are also planned. According to the developers, more than 33,000 people should be able to be on one server at the same time, and 2 additional advanced classes are planned that you first have to unlock. Looking at the planned feature list, there is also talk of guild wars, player versus player, and leaderboards. If you put all these points together and think about what goal Epitome has, then it would probably actually be enough if NPCs dynamically generate quests for you, because it simply won't be a game with deep lore or much variety, but rather a typical grinding game. The idea of being able to haggle with NPCs over quest content and rewards is kind of cute, though. Looking at the game's monetization, it's supposed to be free to play and offer a real money shop with items in it. These are not supposed to affect gameplay, and accordingly, pay to win is being avoided. For now, release is planned for PC. Later, Epitome is also supposed to expand to other platforms and offer crossplay. However, if the combat system improves significantly, there is definitely a market for the game. Just looking at all the Metin 2 private servers. There are definitely people who are looking for a modern grinding game, and Epitome could take that spot.